Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I'm back to post a really quick video here. This is going to be a video response to David, his almost 300 subscribers contest, which actually now I know it's at least 300 because I ended up being the 300 subscriber. um, I didn't know about all the issues with your previous channel, and I know that whole Google Plus thing. I mean, I know exactly where you're coming from about. I mean, how much I hated that as well when they made that change. But I didn't realize you had those problems with your old channel. I was subscribed to your old channel, but never caught on to your new one. So when I saw your video pop up for the contest, and I looked on there and realized I wasn't a subscriber, you were at 299. So I ended up being your 300 sub. So I'm not gonna say congratulations on almost 300. Congratulations on 300 plus subs. Um, so yeah, you think you've been in the VC for about 2 years now, and your thread question or your contest question was really kind of simple and straight to the point, where you just kind of asked us what was it about your channel that kind of made us subscribe or makes us come back to your channel, and just kind of getting feedback from us, I guess, of kind of what we click with you and that type of thing. So pretty easy answer for me, actually. Number one, the thing that brought me to your channel, I remember, when I stumbled across it a while ago, was this band right here. I mean, you were clearly an AC/DC fan, and of course I love AC/DC as well, and that was one of the first things that kind of brought me to your channel. Now, the thing that made me actually sub to your channel, which is kind of interesting, goes back to this album, because you are the one that introduced me to Airborne. And I'll never forget, it was the video you did when you did the cover of What's Eating You. And I thought that was just like the coolest thing in the world. It's kind of funny too, because I guess, people here in the VC would probably understand it, those that are really, really into music, maybe more so than people that strictly have music as background in their lives, so to speak. But, well, let me just kind of give you a quick example. One of the things about music is that when it comes to people in the VC, it's just my life in general. When someone introduces me to a song, or I experience a song or an album for the first time with someone, there's a very, very strong connection that takes place with me here and here, and it never fades. For a lot of people, it does. A lot of people, again, that just kind of music in their life is just strictly background. I mean, I think you guys will understand a little more. So like a good example was when I was younger, my mother had this VHS tape that she recorded off of the Bobby Jones gospel special. I never remember that. There was a song by a group called the Pilgrim Jubilee. It's called a church song. It was just really this unique thing where they had like a song that they wrote, but they took lyrics from popular gospel songs, and each verse was from a different song, and it was songs that most people know, and that's kind of where the title of the song came, is church song. So she recorded this and had it on VHS, and I remember, again, I'm younger now, and she's showing this to my aunt and everything, and talking about how neat it is, and look how they're using that song, and they put it in there. And how this one guy, when he was singing his part, had this little twitch in his shoulder. And I remember her talking about how he was getting into it and everything else, and they were laughing. And again, I'm just a little kid sitting on the sideline here watching this, and it's just like, that stuff is just being drilled, and all of a sudden, because of what they're saying, I'm seeing all the cool elements of the song. Well, I have that song on my iPod. I was in my car with my mom maybe 6 months ago, something like that. And I started playing that song, and I'm like, remember the Pilgrim Jubilee? Remember? She has no recollection of it whatsoever. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, you're the one that introduced me to this song. Remember when you were showing it to Aunt Carolyn and Aaron Blah, and you were talking about how? And she's like, I don't remember that. I do not remember this song. And that just almost blows my mind, because once I make that connection with so much music, it's like, it is just embedded forever, almost like it was yesterday. And like I said, with kind of going to that story, kind of sharing, because when you did that cover of What's Eating You, kind of that exact same thing happened. And every single time I listen to this album or I hear that song, you in that video sitting off to, if you're facing the camera to the left, you know, your head down, kind of bobbing and hitting those awesome open chords that are in that song. It's just, again, it's drilled in my mind forever. Like 40 years from now, I could play that song and you're like, what does it make you think of? Like, David, way back in 2013 or whatever. I mean, like, so that's, to me, that's a cool thing. Anytime I can experience that with someone, especially even here in the VC, that's one of the things that draws me to someone's channel or makes me sub to them or whatever else. And it's just an awesome thing, you know. I remember LJ saying that about me, in a sense. Again, it's just something that's just bedded there about a Motorhead album that I showed one time way back in the VC, and he talked about how that was our connecting point. And now every time I listen to Motorhead, every time I go to that album, I think about LJ saying that from literally 4 years ago or something like that, 4 or 5 years ago. So those connection points are very, very strong for me. So again, that's part of what made me sub, made me, you know, follow your channel and all of that, is because we had a very strong connection point based on your cover of Airborne's What's Eating You, which is an awesome song. That was a cool cover too. So that's kind of what brought me to your channel and what got me to sub and connected me with your channel. The last thing I'll kind of address really quick too, because I know you kind of brought this up, was you mentioned that I guess there was someone in the VC that you had been reaching out to, and you know, you weren't sure if they were mad at you or if you did something wrong or whatever the case may be. And yes, I thought I'd just kind of, you know, address that really quick too. And the first thing I would say is probably don't take it too personally, especially until you really have a chance to find out or know, you know, kind of what's going on. I mean, I don't know any of the details about the situation or whatever else. I think I actually made a comment on the video as well. But the one thing I've definitely learned about the VC, especially in the 7 years now or something like that, you know, because keeping in mind, I've been here in the VC since before it became even the VC. So I've kind of seen the whole shebang from start to now. And one of the things you always have to keep in mind is we get so locked in our music and us talking about it and getting new albums and coming on here and posting. And sometimes we don't realize, wow, how many years have gone by, and outside of what we share here in our videos, how much life has taken place for people. You know, I mean, someone that had a 7-year-old kid when I started posting videos when the VC first started, they have a teenager now. I mean, it's like, you know, life has changed so much, and there's so many different things that we have to deal with in life outside of the happy and great stuff that we share here in the VC. So I'm just kind of putting it out there to say, you know, unless you receive some message from this particular person where they said, you know, something negative or they were pissed off at you or something like that, I would never assume, especially here in the VC, that if you're just not getting any feedback at all, especially no negative feedback, never assume that there's something on the negative side. You just kind of take it with a grain of salt, and you know, and really just kind of wait to find out, oh, this person might have been going through this type of thing, or, you know, again, sometimes life just overwhelms you. I know over my 7 years, there's been times where I've kind of backed out from the VC. Not because I actually backed out, but just because stuff going on, and maybe I was checking in or posting maybe once a month, and then something else pops up and all of a sudden I'm posting every other day. And you know, sometimes I think too that the segmenting that comes across in the VC, and not because people want to make their own clicks or whatever, but there's just so many people in the VC now. You know, when it first started, there was, you know, first maybe 6 months to a year, there were maybe like a good 100 people or so that were really kind of the group. But now it's like, geez, it's impossible to keep up with every video and so forth. And so you tend to find people kind of getting into, God, I really just communicate and click with this guy and this guy and this guy and this girl and this guy and this girl, but then don't find the time. They're not even avoiding, they just don't end up finding that time to go to other channels and stuff like that. And again, it's not a personal thing, you know. Um, I mean, I have over 3,000 subs, but yet when I put up a video, I don't get 3,000 views. You know, I may get 400 or 500, it may get up to 1,700, 2,000 sometimes. But what that means is that there's 1,000 people that plus that digs my stuff and hits subscribe. But even then, they didn't have the time to come check out my video for whatever particular reason. So, so yeah, I would say again, just in that situation, give it a little bit of time and just kind of, you know, maybe wait to hear back from this person and get a feel for just kind of, you know, what's going on in their lives, and you just be very open to the idea and the concept that it's probably not anything negative, especially like I said here in the VC. It's just sometimes just life, man. Gosh, it's just life with family and work and bills and this situation and brothers and sisters and, you know, on and on and on. Crazy kids, crazy wives, crazy husbands. It's just whatever. So yeah, like I said, take it with a grain of salt, and you know, I'm sure eventually this person, they have no negative feelings towards you. They'll reach out and touch base, and you'll realize that it's like, oh, you know, your mother passed away and we weren't aware of that or something. You know, you never know. So anyway, again, congratulations on the 300 plus subs. Glad I found your channel again, and as always, we will talk to you soon. All right, take care, guys.